Will the sunshine last? Now that spring has sprung, will it actually start to get a bit warmer? And also this week, Faye from Freelance Mum joins us for a bit of a natter. We'll hear from her in just a bit.
Hello and welcome to Square Raindrop. I'm Jo Wheeler.
And I'm Steph Galter.
And I haven't got long today, Steffi. The sun is shining. I want to be outside. Although, before I do, it's either putting the coat on or another jumper.
Yes, it's those nice sort of, I call them winter hazards, even though it's spring. So the sun's out, you go, oh, how lovely. You step outside and get frostbite.
That's exactly how it is. The whole garden is covered in a white frost in the morning. Mind you, I love this time of year. I really do. And by the time the sun comes out, it is absolutely gorgeous.
It is, and my child has said, I don't care, Mummy, if there is ice on the floor. I am going to school in shorts. And I was like, absolutely fine. If you want to freeze your legs off, go ahead. So I don't know, maybe he wants to show off his scratches from the weekend in the garden. So I don't know about your weekend, Jo, but I am aching everywhere. I can barely move. Yesterday, I couldn't. So we're going through all my dad's things after his sad passing. So my sister and I decided it would be a really good idea to get everything out the loft this time. So we just clear that. Well, let's just say there was a lot in there. There was a lot of dead earwigs in there and several rather large alive spiders. So as we're
Mia will have been delighted.
I should have brought Mia along with me, except it would have taken 7 times longer because anything alive she would have saved and anything dead she would have dissected. So she was like, I was passing things down to her and she's passing things to me, and we're being rained on by various dead, yucky. It was just horrible. It was just the worst, Jo. I cannot tell you how horrible that was. And it's a really unnatural kind of movement that you're doing, passing these really. There was crockery sets and all sorts up there. Why are they up there? Why? Nobody's going to use it. I think I'll have a dinner party in the loft. And then the next day, because it's such a nice day outside, I thought, I better go out and do a bit of gardening. And that's also my sister's fault as well, I would just say. Because on the way home, she was driving. She said, oh, look, I'm going to put on Classic FM. Very different. And Alan Titchmarsh is on, who used to be my nan's pin-up. So anyway, he's on and he said, this is your last chance to do your rose trimming. And I was like, oh my God, Alan Titchmarsh is telling me off. I've got to do my rose bush trimming. So then yesterday I hacked down these roses and all the bits that were attached to it until I could no longer move my arms. And I'm like, Felipe, can you help? So poor lad, he had to finish that off.
Strangely enough, I didn't hear Alan Titchmarsh, but I also cropped my roses yesterday, the last of them to need doing.
Telepathically even heard Alan Titchmarsh. Well, probably psychopathically as well. Well, that's a different matter altogether.
Here in Lincolnshire, everything grows, and it grows very, very fast. So if you don't nail the garden early in the season, yes, it just completely runs away with you, and you end up with the forest that surrounded Sleeping Beauty's castle. So I decided that I was going to plant some seeds. This would be a couple of weeks back now, and they were coming through beautifully. They really were. And then I went to water them and I picked up the wrong bottle. So I actually sprayed them with Zaflora disinfectant rather than water. I don't think they smelt nice.
How did they do with a little bit of disinfectant on them? Oh, Jo.
They're not looking terribly good.
Yeah,
it has to be said. My beetroot plants are looking very, very sad. But I got up at 2:00 this morning. I made some mango chutney and I started off some raspberry wine. And then I planted some more beetroots.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why did you get up at 2:00 to do this? 7:00 would be absolutely ample time.
I have no idea. I was awake at 2:00. I tried to go back to sleep. It didn't work. I thought, well, I'm awake now. Might as well crack on.
I fancy a poppadom. I'll go and make some mango chutney.
Mind you, you say that. I actually texted my neighbour at 5:00 and said, are you awake? Got an answer back saying yes. So they came round for a cup of tea.
Oh, that's nice. I thought you were going to say for a curry. When I used to do night shifts, of course, your body clock is all over the shop. And sometimes you'd finish at 8:00 in the morning and you'd think, could really do with a curry and a beer. But that's kind of frowned upon at 8 in the morning, and not many curry houses are open.
No, absolutely not. Now, you can notice that right at the second, what we're avoiding talking about is the weather, because it's a bit...
It is. It's lurched from one dull regime to another. But at least this dull one's pretty and there's some sunshine out there. I'm much happier with this dull regime than any of the others that we've had in the last When was the last time it was sunny for a prolonged period, Joe? Lockdown?
Mm, few years back, yeah, probably 2020. Now, you see, of course, me being a great fan of the long range weather forecast, yeah, I've checked all this out, and it looks like the high pressure pretty much stays with us through until the middle of March, which is great for us. Yeah, but have you seen what's happening to Spain and Portugal?
No, I haven't. I've looked at us and I did go, okay, well, that's promising. I'm very happy with that. Obviously, better in the south than further north. I have to say, I'd feel slightly shortchanged if I was in northwest Scotland. But for us, it's looking pretty good. If not that warm, there are still quite big question marks over mid-March and all the rest. But what's happening in Spain and Portugal then, Joe?
Well, the high pressure that's affecting us is the Azores high, as in
Yes.
any other type of high, which is the one that usually keeps things really, really nice over Iberia. Now, of course, I do have experience of this because I live there. So I noted that whenever the Azores high was affecting the UK, then Spain and Portugal got horrible weather,
Oh
right?
dear.
And vice
It has
versa.
to go somewhere, doesn't it, Joe?
I know, I know. So basically, these really horrendous low pressure systems are going across Spain and Portugal, absolutely hacking it down, and it's windy. And then, of course, they're moving east, moving into Italy, parts of Greece. So if you have got a European holiday, Southern European holiday booked in the next 10 days or so, maybe take your raincoat.
Or if you can, reschedule or book somewhere else.
That also, yes. But as you say, the high pressure in one form or another pretty much stays with us for the next 14 days. I think that's what's inspired me to do the garden, but it hasn't inspired me yet to wash my car, which is filthy.
No, no, that's still got moss growing on it. I've
Actually,
given
one
up
of
on
mine
mine.
has.
My line now is it's bad for the environment. It wastes water. So therefore, I am taking a stand against washing my car. That's
I
my excuse, and I'm sticking with it.
I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. So, in terms of the weather, like I say, ours is really quite quiet. These overnight frosts and fog hanging around for a couple of days, but it's not been so extensive for the last couple of days and probably won't be because we're going to see the breeze pick up through the middle of the week.
Yeah, that's right. Always in the north and the west, there's a bit more cloud, a bit more wind, more outbreaks of rain. But for the south, it does look really quite dull, really, here, which is great. I'm loving the sunshine.
When you say dull, you mean boring as opposed to grey dull.
Yes, yes, should clarify that one. That's a quite an important point. Um, Also, what happened this week is that we got locked out of our Instagram account, didn't we, Joe?
We did. Not entirely my fault, although usually when these things happen, it is. But of
To
course,
be fair, we don't know. We have no concrete evidence because the only thing you get, I'll read you the email I got. We have suspended your account. That's it. Your account is not visible to anyone on Instagram or Threads at the moment, and you cannot use it. You have 180 days left to appeal our decision. And that's about it, really. It says your account or activity on it doesn't follow our community standards on account integrity. Now,
and all it was a code that I didn't have.
well, fortunately, that problem all managed to fix itself, but it would be a big problem for other people if they had that, wouldn't it, Faye?
Oh, Steph, it
Yeah.
really would be a right pain because I have to say that Instagram is my favorite platform, which I never thought I'd be saying actually. When it comes to Freelance Mum, it's just such a fab place to be creative, have a little play around with reels. So the idea of being locked out of Insta, I mean, obviously the world would still spin, but it would give me a bit of a headache in the process.
What exactly is freelance, Mom?
Great question, Joe. I'm glad you've asked. So Freelance Mum is basically child-friendly networking for mums in business, born of my own need, being a freelance voiceover artist, struggling to juggle motherhood around business, and I just couldn't find a place for fellow mums like me. And I thought, well, if I can't find it, I'm just going to have to create it. So I decided to create this child-friendly networking. That was 10 years ago, the measure of which is my youngest daughter, Suki. I launched it in Bristol and absolutely loved it. It was a real hit. 15 people turned up to the very first netwalk. And I can remember in those early days, people used to say to me, oh, well, can I come? My children are at school, can I come? And I used to think, why would you want to come? But of course, as I've got older, I realised that the thing about being self-employed and motherhood, or motherhood full stop, is it's just ages and stages. And you still need that community and you still need that strength of a network and a safe place where you can turn up and you can say, Oh my goodness, I actually had no sleep whatsoever last night, but that doesn't make you any less a professional. So it's a really safe space where you can turn up, be the face of your business, whatever face that is. We love tired faces, that's fine. You can talk about, your business, you can talk about mum life, but it's all there. I pivoted during lockdown, where I launched a weekly online coffee morning. You can go off and make a cuppa if you like. I could keep going for hours. I pivoted during lockdown, where I created a weekly online coffee morning, and it was from that pivot that allowed me to then scale up. And so I've now got hubs across the country that are run by Freelance Mum fairies, and then so they all meet in their hubs once a month for a net walk, and then we all connect across all the hubs once a week for a weekly online coffee morning. So, in a nutshell, that's it.
And a net walk, what's that?
Net walk. So basically, it's networking and walking. So net walking. I didn't invent the turn of phrase, I have to say. I just sort of thought I like that. And I realized, right in those early days when Suki was strapped to me, that if you want to connect and be able to talk to other women, actually, or anyone really, going outdoors with children is extremely helpful. And of course, as it's continued, I've really begun to realize those health benefits. And it's just such a great way to be able to talk, have connections. I always say that there's nothing that can't be solved by going for a walk. I think there's something about, having a cup of coffee is nice, but actually walking and moving your body and making those connections. And what we do is we stop the walk at 3 different points, and you walk with a buddy, and we set a focus question so that you can then have a focus question, so you can really make the most of your time, and you mix it up, and you have a different buddy to talk to. And similarly, if they're toddlers on scooters or whatever, it just works really well.
What kind of questions would you ask when you say a focus question? I mean, that scares me. I've been to all these kind of meetings through various different workplaces, and they've given me, and I've thought, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, it's great. We've got a set format. So the first focus question always comes from our Freelance Mum Star of the Week. So much like how the children always have Star of the Week at school, I was like, no, the children shouldn't have all the fun. So we always have a Freelance Mum Star of the Week, and they get brownies sent to them and a little postcard to say, well done, you're the Star of the Week. And then they get to set the first focus question. So I've just received the first focus question, and that's from Caitlin from our Southampton hub. And it's a great one. It's all about putting yourself out there, basically. So she gets to set that first focus question. The second focus question I come up with, so they're nothing too taxing, and I don't mind if people don't use them, but it might be something like, what's your big brave goal for the year, and what's the first step you can make towards it, for example. And then the final focus question is always the same, and it's quite a simple one, but it always throws people. And I always say, use this focus question really well. And it's, how can I help you? How can I help you? Just turn around and ask someone, how can I help you? And so you might want someone to be an accountability buddy. You might want someone to check in with you at the end of the week and say, oh, did you get this work done? You might be after a particular referral or a particular client. You might have a problem that you just want to chew over. But it's surprising how much it throws you when someone asks you, how can I help you?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? And what I love about it then is it's not really just networking. It's like community you're building. So you're all kind of trying to help each other, which is amazing. You kind of need that as a mum, some kind of safety net and someone who's got your back.
Exactly that, Steph. Exactly that. It is the whole community aspect. It's like it's a network in the truest sense. I believe that you need to best support a mum in business. You need to know the whole of a person. It's up to you what you choose to share. We're not asking people to overshare here, but you might just want to turn up and say, actually, I'm really struggling with this month, and it would help me a great deal if I can get this off my plate. Like, so for example, I had to convert an online workshop into an in-person workshop, and that I was finding like that's quite a meaty problem for me, but I booked in a call with someone and they really helped me convert that. So that was a really useful thing. But it might be something like, actually, my toddler's not sleeping and our household needs to function, and we can't function because my toddler's not sleeping. So it's that opportunity to say to someone, how can I help you? That really allows you to think, yeah, actually, what is the help and support that I need this month?
Yeah, the help and support for my first child would have been, can you stop screaming at any point in the future? That would be lovely. Jo, what were you going to say?
Well, whether it was net walking or networking, you two are no strangers to each other. I've got it written down here. Silly and giggly is the quote I've got.
As if.
I think Steph and I, oh gosh, we bonded years ago, didn't we, Steph? In a life before children, in a very early hour. It's about 4:30 in the morning, back in the day when we were both working at BBC Radio Bristol. I was doing early breakfast and travel, and of course you were weather.
Yay! Some things never change, still in the weather. But yeah, it was almost at the time when we were almost children ourselves in a way. We were very young, very needed nurturing and networking. Didn't necessarily get that from the place we were in. But I have to say, Faye, while you're still here with us, I love your tagline, the mother of all networking. That is just brilliant. I love it.
Thank
That is
you.
very
I like it.
clever.
Yeah, I like it too. And I've got a whole range of postcards like the mother of all hugs, the mother of all connections, because it's like, yes, the mother of all. And we need that mother of all support, basically, is literally the mother of all networking.
And where can people find you and find out more about Freelance Mum?
So you can just check out freelancemum.co.uk, or of course, you can check out Instagram, which is Freelance Mum Network.
We don't do Instagram.
Oh,
Not very well.
I do, but the world won't stop spinning if I don't, as we had previously established. But yeah, you can find me. I'm very active on the socials, and if you want to find out more about Freelance Mum, and if there's not a hub near you, we do have a digital hub as well, because I recognise that it's great to have hubs across the country with all these lovely fairies at, but I can't wave a wand and plonk one exactly where I'd like one. So if you're a mum in business listening to this and you'd like to find out more, you can always join our digital hub as well, and you can try Freelance Mum for free for 30 days, and then if you like it, come and be part of it, because we'd love to have you.
And very briefly, because you and Steph were friends before, and now we're going to be working together again. How so?
Well, this is just lush. Steph, I'll let you do the talk on this one.
Yeah, so this is great. So so it was random that we got back in touch. It was through a friend in a place in Bristol anyway that put us back in touch, and that's great. And I was like, oh, we're looking for people to do forecasts for who are like outside and might be walking, and maybe with small children and family. Oh my God, that's you! So it's like, you need to tell us where your hubs are doing their walks, and we can tell you what the weather's doing. So we're going to have this kind of like little partnership going on where we help each other.
It's absolutely perfect, Steph. I'm so excited. And we've got our Swansea hub launching on Thursday, which is super duper exciting. And it's a really beautiful setting in Swansea. It's on the Mumbles. So it's just along the seafront and the pier there. So it's really lovely. In fact, we've got a hub in North Somerset, which is also in Clevedon. So it's the similarities. In fact, we're going to have a lot of fun with those two hubs. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to make... You'll like this a lot. In June, we're going to get everyone, each hubs, to make a little boat and try and get the Freelance Mum coffee cup. There's the coffee cup to float in the boat and send it from Swansea to North Somerset to see if that works. I mean, we might have to mock something up there, but we thought it'd be good fun. And having those personalised, forecasts is just going to be brilliant. I mean, at the moment, it's lovely to see blue skies, but of course, we know that isn't always the case. And particularly when you look at places like Swansea and North Somerset, when you then got potentially high tides in the mix as well. It's like, actually, having someone to tell me, is it a good idea or not a good idea, would be really useful. So thank you.